Well, hello and welcome. Here we are in the beginning of our rebranding. We are now the Enlightenment Exchange. I'm so excited for this new, like, kind of shake up the energy, and we've got some fun things planned. We're looking at some like roundtable discussions
Mhm.
and um, just all kinds of new things that we're going to try and talk about and bring up. So I'm really excited to start with that. And then I am Angie.
I'm
And
John.
John and Melanie. Hello, everyone. Good to see you. We had fun last week. Anything interesting happen between last week and this week? And no is an okay answer if you can't, because I put you on the spot. You know how I'm good at that.
Oh, I can always come up with something.
I know you can. I
Um,
have one too, so I figured I'd let you go first.
all right, so here's mine. I have the business crowd that I hang around with for my business, and I have my woo-woo crowd, and they don't usually mix a whole lot, but it's always really fun when they do, and I wasn't expecting it. So I was introduced to a pretty high-end business coach. She's got a PhD. She's written a number of books. Works with like big, corporate clients and yada yada. And she needed some help with something. One of my other clients referred her to me, and so I'm looking at her website, kind of going through the different parts of her website, and one of her menu options is ceremonies. I'm like, hmm, business coaches that do ceremonies. I'm going to check that out. And sure enough, Oracle reader or tarot reader. I'm like, oh, we are going to be great friends. It's so nice to see
Awesome.
a business, in the business side, but they're a match for who I am and what I do. Just love finding that out.
That's
I love that.
amazing.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah,
Have you had
that's
a chance to chat with
beautiful.
her about it yet, or?
So we're scheduled to talk tomorrow. So I,
Cool.
I will let her say her thing, and then I'll say, guess what? We're fellow tarot readers, and let's talk woo for a minute.
That's so
I love it.
I it's
Yeah.
my favorite thing to happen. It's just when it happens on its own, and the universe, you just know the universe is saying, here's someone you might like.
Yep. That's
That's so
awesome.
cool. I guess the universe just kind of knows I don't really like anyone. No,
That's relatable.
that's not really the truth. I just had to throw that in there.
That's why they send you annoying tax clients.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, actually, to be honest with you, the tax clients, for the most part, aren't the ones that are annoying. It's the people I work with. But
Oh
that's
yeah, that's true. You said your
that.
clients are usually pretty good. It's your
Yeah,
coworkers.
yeah, because they think I'm kind of wonderful. It's always nice to work
It
with
is nice to
people
be
that think
appreciated.
you're
Yeah, especially when
kind
you
of
do something really
awesome.
cool, like that people
So,
can't do themselves.
right, exactly. So, what about you, Melanie? Anything? I got a really good one.
Not that I want to talk about.
Okay, that's
It's
cool.
been a crazy week.
So,
Are
that's
you okay?
okay. There you go.
Sure.
You're okay?
Sure.
Okay.
She's as okay as she's willing to
I'm
talk about on the show.
yes.
Okay.
That's so okay. So, this is really interesting. And this is something that comes up in my work a lot. So, I wanted to tell you guys, you remember last week we were talking about self-care, and John, you brought up, I don't remember who it was that said it, but it was like, um if you want to start to run, just put on your shoes.
Yeah.
Remember when you
Yeah.
said that?
Right. Yep.
And I remember thinking, wow, that's like applicable to so many things. I mean,
Mhm.
it doesn't have to just be the shoes. And what's interesting about it is, and this is what I want to talk about. What's interesting about it is that, and I don't know, some of you know, some of you don't know, but I do Weight Watchers, and I've been really struggling for a long time, just even committing to any kind of a process. And Weight Watchers is not a diet. It's not even, they don't tell you really what to eat. They just give you a tool to help you stay within certain parameters.
Yep.
It's
Right.
called tracking, right? Like,
Yep.
and I just, like, I didn't even want to do that. And it was so interesting because we talked on Wednesday, but that Monday, so 2 days before, I had said, oh, let me just track the waffles. And I tracked the waffles. And then from the waffles, it went to the next thing. And then, to the salad, whatever. And I managed to go through a whole entire week tracking. And
wow. Congrats, my friend.
Great.
thank you.
Yeah.
And actually, now I'm in week 2. But what's interesting about this is that I started doing that on Monday. We talked about just put your shoes on Wednesday. And when I told the story on Friday, in the meeting, I said, well, my friend told me if you want to start running, you just put on your shoes. So I said, well, if I want to start tracking, I should just track the waffles. And I didn't realize
Ooh.
that I had started the tracking 2 days before you mentioned just put on your shoes.
Isn't that cool how things kind of come together?
It is so amazing. And it just speaks to me to the power of intention and how often I do readings or Akashic readings or whatever for people. And then I'm good for homework. I like giving homework. And I will say, well, maybe you should stop watching the news, let's say. And they will say, it's really funny you say that because 4 days ago, I decided I just couldn't handle it anymore. Or it just happens so often in this work. So what do you think the explanation is? I'd love to hear, John, what you think about that.
All right, I'm on it. Because things in this plane are not necessarily synchronous, right? So you're going to get a boy, we don't even have the right vocabulary for it. But my point is that even if something happens before the thought happens, that's how the eternal and the physical connect.
I agree with that. And I think that it speaks to the idea that you're in alignment.
Yeah. Yeah. Very much.
And it's almost validation that you're in alignment.
Yeah.
Like you starting that and then him saying that, it was like, oh yeah. Okay. So it's validation that I'm doing the right thing. I'm on the right path. I'm in alignment.
But I didn't even realize it until I said,
no.
When I told the story in my mind, I heard you say it before I started doing it. Like, which is just, actually, I'd like to say it's just freaky or creepy or whatever, but it's not to me.
Right. It's like,
a lot of people would be like, oh, that's scary. I'm just not, it's not scary to me.
It's synchronicity.
Yeah. Right. Like, it's just so amazing that it speaks to the power of our intentions and why we must be careful with our thoughts.
Yep.
Right. Yep. Like, and how we can, that's why visualize, align, surrender is important, right? Align, figure out what you want, align with it, take action, and then just let the universe take. And when I follow my own advice, it usually works out pretty well for me.
Right.
You find that too?
Yes. Like, oh, it's almost like I know what I'm talking about.
Who'd have thunk?
Who'd have thunk it? I say that to my kids all the time when I'm proven right.
Oh,
it's like, it's like I know what I'm talking about.
Forget it with the kids. My kids. I'm in my 60s. My kid's in his 40s, and I remember saying to my husband just the other day, "Do I actually look like I'm incapable?"
Right? My adult kids, I love them dearly, but it's like they literally think I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and it's like, well, the guy's out back, I don't know if you noticed, but the landscaper guy is there. You might want to go out and tell him what you want him to do. I already did that. Like, I don't know what, like, but I told my husband, I said, okay, I'm just going to turn that around. And I'm going to say the reason that the people do that is because they care about me.
Right. Exactly.
And you just have to, let that go. So
yeah, you have to let that go.
Assume the best. Yeah.
I do a lot of that.
Assume.
Yeah, right. Because, that's it, isn't it? Like, assume the best. It's like,
assume the best.
It's like, I remember I had a conversation with somebody once. She was like, well, I just lower my expectations, then I can't be disappointed. I said, you need to stop that right now. I said, you
Yeah.
need to raise your expectations so that the universe, rises up to meet you. And that she called me like 2 weeks later. She said, I can't believe what a change that made.
Wow.
I mean, because you hear it all the time. Oh,
Mhm.
lower your expectations. I expect the best from everybody. If they do their best, that is the best, right?
Mhm.
I don't expect what I think is the best from everybody.
Right.
I
Right.
expect their
Their
best.
best.
Mhm.
Yep.
And so
Yep.
if their best struggles, or if their best doesn't quite get to where I was hoping to get to, but it's their best, who am I to say anything?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sometimes in a disagreement, it's helpful for me to say or to realize, hey, you know what? We're actually both on the same side. We're both wanting him to go, our son to go in to improve, to be, to be better. We're really both on the same side. It's just a disagreement over
Mhm.
tactics.
Mhm. Mhm.
Exactly.
Mhm. You both have good intentions.
Yeah. Yep. We want the best for him. So,
Right.
okay. So what is that? And
Right.
that kind of diffuses some of the,
Yeah.
the buildup there.
Yeah. And I kind of do it with my kid. It has nothing to do with spirituality, but like with grades, I do not expect straight A's, but I 100% expect you to do your best. I have one daughter, my 16-year-old. She has some kind of like testing anxiety and stuff like that. And she
Mm.
cannot test. And I will see her studying and studying and studying and reviewing, and I'll review with her, and she'll get people to help her and support. And I can tell she really did it, and she'll still get a C or a D.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, that's you did your best. There's
Mhm.
literally nothing else I can expect from you. I saw the hard work you did,
Mhm.
and I know that
And
you
that's what's
had
going
good
to pay off.
intentions.
That right there. It's
Right.
that
Yeah.
preparation. That's the payoff.
Right. Right.
Well,
right.
It's really interesting that you bring that up. I was having a conversation with my friend who, I don't know, I think we probably brought him up every now and then. She takes care of her great grandson through the week. And, he's in special ed, and, they're trying really hard to define him as ADHD and all these things. And
Mhm.
I hear the stories of and the things that she tells me that he does, the art and the the mechanics and I'm like, he's not ADHD, he's bored.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
please don't let them put him in that box.
Right.
And I know of where I speak, or know whereof I speak, however that works. My youngest son was, and I had no idea because I was young, in special ed. He made it to high school. He was such a social butterfly that, like, he couldn't deal with school. He does have a pathway problem, like getting the words from the page
Mhm.
to his brain,
Mhm.
back out his mouth, or into his hand. Like, it's definitely a pathway problem. And then finally, the last year of high school, there was just no way it was going to happen. He could have stayed in until he was 21, but who wants that? So I let him leave school when he was 17. The minute he turned 18, he marched himself over the county, signed himself up to take the GED test, took no classes, went, sat for that test, took the test, and passed in the top 5%.
Oh, that's awesome.
No studying, no classes,
Right.
no nothing. When
Wow.
all along they're telling me he's behind
Right.
and not.
Right. Yeah.
That's really
And
smart. I love that.
that's the other thing is everybody has their own standards. Everyone is on their own path, and that's what I can't stand about the public school system is everybody has to be in a box. And
Right.
I can't stand that. Everyone learns different. Everyone has different brain capability, not capabilities, but the way their brain works.
Methods. right? The way
Methods, yeah.
Neurodivergent.
Different learning methods, right? And to expect everyone to fit into the same box, it's a little ridiculous. And
Especially how ridiculous those boxes are looking for these kids.
yes,
I mean, what even
yes.
is this math they're doing nowadays?
I can't help them.
With the
I can't help
boxes
them.
and the
I can't help them.
I've
like,
seen that, and I get why
Yeah.
they do it.
Not
It's
me.
not how we did it,
Greek.
but
It's Greek
yeah.
to me.
Well, I mean, for me, the problem with my kid was he thinks like I do, and I see the numbers, like literally see them moving around into where they belong.
Mm.
And so it's really easy for me to get the right answer,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not easy to get a good grade because you can't show your work if, well, this number walked over here and this number walked over there and this number went up there and these two
Draw a little map
together, and then the teacher doesn't want any part of that. So he was forever getting in trouble because he'd have the right answer, but he didn't show his work. I'd be like, I don't care. I would tell the teacher, stop.
Exactly.
Have you guys seen that book of funny test answers? My
No,
favorite
but I see
one is
something on Instagram.
yeah. So there's like
always...
there's a trigonometry problem, and there's like X, Y, and Z, and it says it has a formula, and the question is find X, and the guy circles and says, "Here it is."
It's right here. I found it. It's right here.
But the other one, show your work. He drew a little picture of himself. He was an artist. He drew a picture of himself for like really, really working. And the teacher's like, excellent art, minus 10, not correct answer.
Right. Yeah, right. But an F. Right.
Yeah. I see those. You see those on Facebook a lot, like just.
Yeah. Yeah. They're most of them from the book.
They're so clever. It's like, why are you not celebrating the cleverness of this child instead of giving him an F, or
exactly. And celebrating his unique brain or their unique brain,
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I think, yeah, that is true. I don't just think, I'm being told actually, is that the more we, what would the word be? Diverge from the norm, the harder they try to keep us in the box.
Yep.
And by they, I mean, standard society right?
and
the school system and the
the institution.
The institution, right? Exactly. So the more we celebrate our kids and the more we show them, you have to get through these 12 years and then you have some more freedom.
And then things become amazing.
And they can. Yeah.
Sure. That's why I wish I could homeschool, because I would love to be able to just have them learn adding the way they want to learn, like my son loves to collect rocks, and go collect rocks and okay, you've got 10 rocks. Now let's separate them and learn adding. But I don't have the bandwidth.
It just reminded me. Yeah, right. No, you definitely don't. You have too many kids. But it reminds me of that. Have you ever seen that one where they say you have 6 dogs, somebody takes away 2 of them? How many dogs do you have left? 6. You have 6 dogs. Somebody takes away 2 of them. How many dogs do you have left? 6. You have 6 dogs and somebody forcibly tries to take away 2 of your dogs. How many do you have left? 6 and a dead body. I just love that.
Exactly. Nobody's taking my dogs.
Nobody. So, I mean, it's abstract, right? Like it's Anyway, okay. So enough about that. Now let's talk about the other thing we were going to talk about this week. How do we define good versus evil? We talk about, dark energy, light energy, heavy energy, good energy, evil energy. This is what I'm going to say. And then we can each just put out there what we believe. And then let's see where we go from there. I believe there are no evil souls, there are evil humans. So I don't believe there's evil on the other side. I believe it's humans that are evil. And I believe that's due to a vibrational mismatch between the pure light of the soul and some sort of physical situation. That's what I believe.
Basically, it's an ego issue.
Right. That's what I
Mhm.
believe. It's a construct, a human construct.
Human
That evil
construct.
is a
Yeah.
human
Yep.
construct.
Yep. Well, let's see here. A couple things. Historically, evil has always been that great force out there, right? So it's always been like this mysterious force.
Yeah, like the church. Oh,
Right.
did I say
Right.
that?
Right.
Mhm.
Really. And more recently, it's been defined as a disease, right? It's a psychological.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So, if this person is a killer, well, it's clearly because he has this, mental disease. So it's almost been defined clinically.
Well, I actually can buy that. And if I was to define evil as a color, oh God,
As a color?
as a color, I would call it orange. Did I actually say that? Yes, I did.
Like Home Depot. Is it Home Depot orange?
Home Depot orange. Oh man. That's
No.
I'm not.
we could go
I'm not-
all kinds of places with that.
We'll leave it there. We'll just leave it there. I'm not going to say another word. Probably, maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. Anyway, well, I mean, that kind of fits with the way I feel. I mean, I believe that mental illness, that physical afflictions are a vibrational mismatch. In other words, a soul goes into a body and the soul is not lined up. So if you could imagine, it's like when I do what is it called? Subtle body alignment.
Mm-hmm.
What I see it as is like Russian dolls, right? Russian dolls that are stacked up.
Mm-hmm.
And when I work on the person and I go into their energy with the intention of aligning their subtle bodies, it's like the faces don't line up. This face faces this way, this face this way. And so when I do the work to do the alignment, I bring them all into alignment where all the faces are all facing the same way. That's the way I translate the energy. That's very much what I feel like mental illness and struggle is some sort of a vibrational mismatch, because whatever is going on in the body can't handle the pure light of the soul.
Right.
I wonder if I ask this question, if this is a tangent we shouldn't go down, feel free to say so. What is the solution then for a killer if the problem is misalignment? Is the solution prison, or is the solution realignment?
Well, I mean, let's face it, our prison system is not set for realignment, but
Correct.
I think that realignment can be had.
Yep.
I think that we've seen some examples of that. But then, you have to look, I think, at the extent. I mean, we've had some serial killers that were pretty far gone.
Yeah.
That
I think there's a societal solution, and then there's a soul solution, which are not the same, but can be also done at the same time.
Well, I mean, sometimes I think sometimes the societal solution has to be isolation, right?
Yeah.
Just making it so that person can't
do anymore.
Do any further damage. The soul solution is really to leave and start over again.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, wow. That's interesting. I hadn't. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I think I've often thought there were, I mean, and man, can you go down some tangents with this, right? There are so many humans who are attached to the idea of, what is it? Like when you get to the pearly gates, they say, "Oh no, you're too
Judgment Day."
Judgment Day. There's too many people, so many people who are attached to that idea. That, and I mean, when I see somebody that does something, I'm like, "Oh, too bad. I don't think judgment is really real."
Yeah,
I just don't believe that it is.
I think evil is a human construct, like time, like other things that we've constructed. And so I don't think there's evil on the other side. I think there are lower vibrating energies. And if we are vibrating low, then yeah, we're going to attract them, and we're going to, yeah, like you said, Angie, like if we're misaligned, we're going to do bad things. I think it is a creation of religion, of society, of whatever, to define, to put people in a box, and you're good or you're evil,
Mhm.
and we're going to treat you as evil, or we're going to treat you as good. And um, then how we interact with that person is dictated by their label. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
When it's not, it's just an energetic misalignment. Like I don't think demons come after me or anything like that. If I'm vibrating kind of lower and I'm kind of in a funk and my ego is getting louder than my soul or anything like that, do I have energies that like keep me up at night or, try to mess with me? Yes. But I don't think they're demons. They can't hurt me. It's not anything to be scared of. And I think it's a scare tactic by religions and society and stuff to control people.
Right.
And
what's really
it's a
interesting
control tactic.
about what you're saying is that I believe that those, I don't even like to use the word entities. I don't believe in demons altogether. But even the idea that those lower vibrations are actually entities that have some kind of consciousness, I don't believe that. I believe they are thought forms, and I believe they are
Right.
energetic thought, very much like, as an example, if you picture yourself in the Frankenstein world, with the Frankenstein monster, and that village with the torches, coming, and they want to kill that monster, and that is so much negative energy all in one place that it could very conceivably create an energetic thought form that would very much seem to
Yes.
a person who doesn't interpret energy well as a demon or as some kind of an entity.
And that you said it better. I was trying to say that. My brain is like, no, girl, not today. So that you said what I was trying to say is, yeah, it's like we perceive it. People who aren't trained in energy or anything like that perceive it as a demon, perceive it as an entity when it's not. That's not what it is.
And I think that the oh gosh, should I even say this?
Yes.
Okay. I think that the Renaissance and the Old English cardinals and whatever who conceptualized the idea of demons were sitting back in their little back room laughing their butts off, saying, "Oh, this is how we're going to get control over."
Yep, and money, because they would pay a penance,
right,
to deliver their soul from hell.
Right.
They literally would give money to the church.
Yeah, I mean that's why people tithe, isn't it?
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
it's not like quite as overt as it was back then. Like back then, the Catholic Church was saying you must pay a penance and then your soul will get into heaven. Now it's more like, oh, pay the percentage and that makes you a good Christian. And it's like, okay.
There's some,
doesn't matter how poor you are.
I catch every now and then on, in the middle of the night, I don't know, on some channel, one of those evangelist guys.
Yeah.
He literally says, sow your seed and then God will bless you. If you sow your seed of $2,500, basically like he's guaranteeing you abundance for the rest of your life.
Right.
Meanwhile, the man's got the nerve to sit there with a bad toupee, a 70s porn mustache, and bragging to people how he's got a Jaguar and
a jet,
like,
5 mansions. Like, right.
That's the same thing that the crooked tarot readers do, or the crooked psychics do.
Yeah,
pretty much, right?
Pay this money, and we'll make sure that you are not bothered by evil. That you will have a happy life.
How about
to me?
Okay, go ahead.
To me, what I would much rather do, and I've seen people do it on TikTok, and when I'm a gazillionaire, I'm going to do this, is instead of giving it to someone like that who already clearly has a lot of money, walk through a grocery store, and when you see
Oh, I
someone
love
like
those
paying,
videos.
they just tap the thing. There you go. Your groceries are paid for, or your gas, or whatever. I love that. And then they walk away. They don't get any accolades for it. They don't get any thank yous, and that's fine. They are spreading abundance. They're spreading love and peace, and that is what we're supposed to do. Not give it to a church. We're supposed to give it to others who are in need.
I read yesterday that if all the money in the entire world was distributed evenly, we would all be
Yes.
millionaires.
Yep.
Isn't that something?
Isn't that crazy?
Isn't
Yep.
that something?
That's my
So-
plan whenever I get
All right,
lots of money.
let's make it happen.
I mean, that's
Let's make
Step
it
one,
happen.
rule the
I mean,
world.
that is
I'm
my
so
plan, too.
excited. I'm so
Right?
excited. I actually I was just in a state of abundance or flow or something the other day, and I was like, I'm so excited. This is what I'm going to do. And I was like all day, I was like, I can't wait. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Wow.
Well, that's a big part of the
Mhm.
manifesting process.
Right.
It is
Yeah.
that joy.
Yeah.
Like it's a
I
huge
was-
part of the manifesting
I
process.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait to do that. And pay. And I was like, what am I going to do when I get all this money? I am going to pay all of, I'm going to buy fireworks
How
for
did
my
you do
town.
How did you do
Are
that?
you on a Mac?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to.
That's
so
a Mac
pay-
thing, John.
You know what?
Yeah.
That happened at exactly the right spot, though.
Yeah,
I know.
right.
Perfect.
I want to pay the school any overdue school lunch things. I want to just go to the school and say I want all of the kids to have a zero balance on their lunches. I
Right.
want to do this for my community. I want to go. We have a community if you, because you can't go to social services to get help with your utilities or rent or anything, but there is an organization that works with churches and stuff. I want to go to that organization and say, here, every month you're going to get $1,000. Use it as you need for whoever comes to you, or however much they need. I would love to be able to do that.
It reminds me
Love
of the there were quite a few. I think Shaq was one of them that would go around to the Walmarts and pay off the layaway
Yes.
at Christmas
Yeah,
time.
I would love to
and
do
just,
that.
I want to pay off all of the layaways
Yes.
in the store.
Yes, I would love to do
one
that.
I saw was I don't know, $50,000 or $60,000 worth of layaways, and
That's so
just
cool.
paid them off. I mean,
That would.
you watch Shaquille O'Neal, and I'm telling you, man, that guy is light walking around. Like he is he'll walk into a shoe store and hand out Apple computers and buy kids shoes.
I would love to do that.
Well, that's why people start nonprofits, right? They think,
Yes.
what? I really want to do something that's going to have a
That's why
lasting
some people
effect.
start nonprofits.
Right.
Which leads me to my next question, but go ahead.
Okay, well, entrepreneurs say, I want to give back and I want to do it on an ongoing basis with something that outlasts me. I want to help this, particular subgroup of people, and I'm going to make a system that does that. And I think that's awesome.
Oh, I do too. I do too.
I would love to. Just because of circumstances, I have lots of connections at social services. I would love to go to my former social worker and say, if a woman ever comes to you and with her children and she's being abused, I want you to tell me, and I will find a place for her. I will put her up for 6 months or whatever, however long she needs to get back on her feet and be safe. Do you know? Oh, that would.
My clients. One of my previous IT clients
Yes.
ran an organization like that. They were my favorite people in the world. Huge hearts and such a great need.
Well, so here's the tax guy coming in that can tell you why it needs to be a nonprofit organization.
Right. Yeah.
Is that so that you can get donations and the people can break them off?
Yeah.
Although nowadays, that. And I want to make it very clear, it was the Tax Cuts Act of 2017, which is prior to 2021, that really basically took away all the charitable donations because they took away itemized deductions. 2017. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no. Who was in charge then? I don't
This is
remember.
the perfect segue. Well, kind of, for the idea of can good and evil exist in the same body. I have a really good example.
Oh, I got a great answer to that, and that is that good and evil are always perceived as in struggle. So whenever you put those two words together, what immediately comes to everyone's mind is like there's this, call it a metaphysical struggle or a struggle in here, or but it's the good and evil question is always about the struggle.
That makes sense to me. So I have someone in particular in mind. I'm not going to mention his name, but it is a him, and it is an evangelist, a televangelist, and he resides in Houston in a huge mansion.
Oh, I know who it is.
He writes a lot of books, and I've seen a lot of his quotes, and I've seen some of the things that he says. Some of them are, I guess, spot on, and others are really spewing that sort of fear consciousness, you know, you better mind your P's and Q's or Jesus is going to get you type of stuff. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
I want that on a shirt.
So, Jesus is going to get you.
Right? Like, so how, I mean, as we talk about the idea of manifesting, and if you walk into light and you live in abundance and you align with the light and everything, you want to manifest abundance, it comes your way. I would say this guy is living half in the light at best. And a lot of them other ones are living not even half in the light. So how do they manifest all this money? Or is it that money is not really what defines abundance in the first place?
Right. Because to me, when I'm trying to manifest money or finances or whatever, I never say I want $1 million or I want $5 million. I never say an amount. I tap into the feeling. I want the joy. I want the freedom. I want the ability to, I want it to flow through me. I want the abundance to flow through me. So I pass it on to other people. That's what I want. And those are the feelings that I tap into. Whereas them, I don't think they're really tapping into the feeling of
they're
that.
Not tapping into anything, right?
Right.
Me, I just say I want to be able to do what I want to do when I want to.
Right. Freedom. Yeah.
Show business.
You want freedom.
Right.
And money is the tool. It's not the money that you're manifesting. It's the feeling, the vibration. It's the vibration. I think that good and evil, if I even wanted to use those terms, which I don't, I think they can exist in the same person, but I think it's more light and dark. And I personally, I have days where I'm like 95% light and 5% dark. I have other days where I'm 5% light and 95% dark. And it's not that I'm doing anything, I'm not murdering anybody or doing anything like that. It's just more of the vibration,
the vibe,
the vibe that I've got going on. Today I woke up almost 100% darker.
But I don't think that makes you evil. Light.
But see, I don't even like that term. So I don't even.
I believe in evil. System. I do believe in evil. There is evil. Charles Manson is evil.
I've dealt with.
Yes,
right.
Yeah.
Absolute evil.
You have. Yes, you have. So I think it's important that we separate vibration. I think that it's important that we separate that from, the idea. So everybody has light and dark.
Right.
We live in a human existence which consists of polarity. I don't believe that evil is the polarity of light. I believe evil is the polarity of good. And I don't believe good and light are the same thing.
So I guess evil and good would be a physical manifestation of the light and the dark. So if you're in a constant state of dark and you're feeling all these things, and again, if you're not in alignment, like you were saying, Angie, you're gonna do humanly evil things.
Or at least humanly, anxiety is going to be part of what you do.
Right.
Anger is going to be part of what you feel, and fear is going to be what you feel.
Right.
And how that plays out is going to be different for different people.
Yeah.
Right. And it has to, those energies, that it has to kind of, it's the whole as within, so without. So if you've got darkness inside, the outward expression of that is going to be an evil act. If you've got more light inside and you're high vibing, the outward expression of that is going to be a good act.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean?
That makes sense.
That's kind of how I think of it.
I mean, really, it's all semantics, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it really is. I was just thinking that.
And then there's also, I mean, hurt people, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
And so, if you look backwards at what, I've worked with some people. I don't do well with victims and grief and that kind of thing. We all know that that's there are other better people for someone to work with than me, because
Me
of
too.
this truth telling mouth that I have. But
Tell it like it is.
it just is what it is. I don't, but oh God, it is, isn't it? I'm fighting with myself whether I actually let this. It seems like, how they say money is the root of all evil, which I don't believe.
Fear is the root of all evil.
Fear is the root of all evil, and
Exactly.
what is the guiding principle of organized religion is to keep you in fear.
Yep.
So what is
your therefore ...
Therefore,
yeah, right. Let's
just got a
use
comment.
we'll use the ...
We just got a comment from Coventina.
Knew someone who was completely evil, never had a good quality about him. Very sad. Well, he's got another chance on the other side, but that it is very sad. It is very sad.
And when I think about the evil that I've dealt with, it's incredibly sad. And like you said, hurt people. And you can kind of, it's not an excuse for what was done, but it's an explanation. Like
Absolutely.
you can see, okay, I get it. And in that is where I can forgive.
That's right.
It was,
Yep.
Oh, it was so hard. But
well,
I did forgive him, and I forgave him for me, not for him. For my peace.
And that's the only way it works. The only reason you can.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
I
Because
had
otherwise
to see
it's not
that he
even
was
really
hurt.
forgiveness. Right.
Right. Exactly. I had to see that he was in such an extreme darkness and hurt, and again, not an excuse, but an explanation for why, because what was inside of him had to physically manifest. And as horrible as it was, I can see it.
And that's it. That it's not condoning, it's not agreeing with.
No.
The word, the way that I see it is, and I learned this with my father, is that compassion is the doorway to forgiveness.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
And forgiveness, I didn't find forgiveness for him until he was long gone. But that doesn't mean anything, because it was for me. It was,
right.
I mean, I've seen people who have refused to forgive until they're, up and into their, 70s and 80s, and it eats at them.
It does.
I'm not willing to let it eat at me,
Right. Right.
And so the forgiveness was for me, not him.
Yep.
Another comment from Coventina. She says, when I looked at him as spiritually sick, that's when I found compassion. And that's
right.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I looked at my father as humanly sick, not spiritually sick.
Sure. Yeah. But
yes, I agree. I mean, compassion is where it lives. But I also, now that I understand what I believe, because he was my father, I did love him. What usually these people that we're talking about, we loved them at some point in our, in our journey, or they wouldn't have been able to hurt us the way that they did. Right.
Exactly.
I can now make peace with the idea that he is on the other side, and that those things that happen to him here have the opportunity to fall away and smooth out, and because he doesn't live with that over there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if he reincarnates too soon, or doesn't, I mean, like we talked about some of those people who get the opportunity to do some Akashic healing when they communicate through a medium.
Uh-huh.
People that do that, then they give themselves a better leg up, I believe, for the next time they come through.
Yeah.
So maybe the next time he's going to have some patterns present in his life he's going to either have to figure out or not, but I believe that the ethers, heaven, whatever you want to call it, is a place of rest.
Right. Yeah.
It's a place where because this is hard work being human. Right? It's a
Do not recommend 0 stars.
No, I would come back. Although Lisa said I shouldn't have to based on my chart.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't ask her that. Wow.
Oh, I want
Is
to
this my last round? Yeah, I sure hope so.
She looked at my chart. She said, "Oh my God, there's so much in here. I hope it's either your last time or you get a vacation next time." Okay. I don't have a problem with being here. I like it.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
You've kind of figured things out.
I enjoy it. I really, because I say this to people when they talk about Illinois. Well, if you don't like it, get out.
You can leave. Yeah.
So if you're not happy here as a human,
you can leave.
Not saying, don't read too
we're
much
not condoning anything.
I'm not going to help you out, but
on a human level, when evil acts are committed, even though I've forgiven that person, even though I've seen the explanation, absolutely, I do not want that person out of prison.
Oh, no. Of course,
right.
Yeah,
the human solution has to be there.
Those evil acts will continue to be manifested.
Right. That forgiveness is about you. That's not about the other person.
It doesn't mean
whether or not there's actually redemption. I don't know. I think that some people are too far gone.
Yeah,
I just do. I mean, I think some people are too far gone. I think that
for
other
this
people,
life.
For this lifetime.
Yeah.
And that there are other people who can see, I mean, they're another real rabbit hole. Man, here we go, closing in on.
Here we go again.
But no, so I mean, it's really interesting, isn't it? The concept of good and evil, midnight in the garden of good and evil, murderers, and I mean, it's just, I guess what I would wish most is for the people that I see who are so afraid of dark energy or entities this or evil that or demons this. I would really like for them to try and find the focus on love, which to me is the polarity of fear. Right. And I mean, you said it way earlier, Melanie. I believe in these low vibration energies. They can't hurt me. And I agree with that. I mean, but they can irritate you.
Yes.
They can irritate you.
They can wreak havoc. Yeah.
Not wreak havoc. Irritate you, or I mean, that's, I think, the source of anxiety and what have you. So okay. So to leave it on a light note,
this is pretty heavy.
Yeah. What do we need? What do we do to leave it on a light note?
So here's the thing. When we have this conversation of like, is it, is it an entity out there? Is it a, is it an illness? Is it something else? And I think one of the things we want to do is just get above that discussion. And by that, I mean, every human being has the ability to raise their vibration and, to go up a level. That should be the emphasis and the desire for everyone. Let's take our vibration up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And interestingly enough, you do see from time to time, it's interesting. You see it. The two things that I find noticeable, let's say in prisons where they're, because I do watch shows about redemption and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
One is dogs, and they bring dogs from a shelter to work with the inmates, and they're responsible for them, and they develop a relationship with them, and it's kind of like working with horses. I think working with dogs, they are very intuitive, and they can really tell you a lot. So there's that, and then there are those that find God and some form of religion, which I think tends to be more non-denominational and more because really the problem with religion is not religion, it's organization.
Right. Yeah.
And so if you can just follow the stories and follow the tenets, I suppose,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Of how you should live your life, I think that can be energetically a really good thing. I mean, I don't do organized religion, but I love to go sit in a church because the energy is pretty amazing. It feels amazing, right?
Cool.
Because the people that are in there on that day that they show up are all on their best behavior, all praying for good in the world and for themselves and for others. So I do like to sit in them. I don't want to go for mass or anything, but so anyway, well, I mean, I guess that's really it again for this week. We went over, but now there's 3 of us to talk. I mean, we have to go over, right?
We're gonna go over. Yeah.
So anyway, all right. Well, thank you. Oh wow, look at that. Wow. The puppy program has a 70% success rate of inmates never returning who took care of puppies. That is amazing.
Okay. That's an uplifting note.
And that is, I mean, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Like, wow. That, I mean, by any measure, that is a huge success.
We don't deserve
that. Is a huge success. Yes, we do.
Oh.
Yes, we do. Absolutely, we do.
The low vibrating humans don't. No.
Yeah, but look at 70%.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I love that so much. Oh.
Well, it was really nice to see you both.
You too.
And it was nice to see you too, Coventina. Thank you for joining us. We don't know when you joined, so
we're happy when anyone joins.
We're happy when you show up at all. So thank you so much. Okay, so remember now, I don't think you have to do anything different. I think I just changed the name of the channel so it'll still show up for you if you're subscribed. But if you're going to tell your friends, make sure you tell them to go subscribe to the Enlightenment Exchange, Divine Conversations. And if you think you'd like to join us sometime, please let us know because we'd like to hear from you too. Anyway, John, Melanie, thank you so much. I had, as always, a really good time.
Yeah.
And once again, we don't know what we're going to talk about next week, so we'll just have to let you know when we get there. Thank you all so much, and don't forget to hit subscribe.
Bye.